Things might get weird.
Yeah.
Welcome to our life. Hello, hello. Welcome back. We did it. We came back.
We made it.
Congratulations.
Good job. Well,
We just took a break.
yeah, that was
Now
more.
pre-recording.
That was
Now
my
coming
fault,
back.
by the way. And we're not going to get into details of that yet. Well, when you took a break kind of this last fall, we just had a lot going on. I did. I just had a lot going on. Was in a funk for a bit and feeling better. And I just don't feel like you can give from an empty cup or a less empty cup. So
You
I
gotta do
don't
what
want
you
to
gotta
just
do.
feel like a hypocrite. I already feel like I've got imposter syndrome with half my life. So we'll figure it out. But sorry, we need a cough button on here or something. But yeah, we can talk about that stuff maybe someday in the future. But yeah, It was just kind of a busy, crazy fall and some interesting experiences and learned a lot and growing in life and love. And here we are. It's a new year. We're in 2023 already. What the heck?
What
Where has
the
time gone?
heck?
Remember my grandparents always telling me, like, the older you get, the faster time goes. It's just so
Yeah.
crazy. And I'm like them now.
I know. You texted me that the years are short, but the days are long. I totally am feeling that. Or it's the kids are growing fast, but not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I look back and I'm like, oh my gosh, we have a 15-year-old? What?
I think I used to say that about the mission when I lived in Argentina doing Mormon mission stuff, just life in general. There's times we'll talk about an experience we had, and that seems like a while ago.
Yeah.
It was maybe a year ago, but then if I look back at like the past year in general, this past year flew.
Flew by. I know, but a lot happened. And
Yeah.
being in some of those moments was like we were in it, you know? And it felt like a long time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What
But-
moments? Just the heavy stuff?
Yeah,
Crazy
mainly.
stuff?
Mainly heavy stuff.
I mean, like a faith crisis isn't enough, right? You got to deal with other crap for me with work and depression and psychology and who the heck knows whatever
Well,
else
and-
crap going on. But
other people and my own life and my own things and whatever.
we're pretty blessed. Life's pretty freaking.
No, we are.
All in all, it's pretty dang good. It's just, I've realized that. I think I was telling you this the other day. I just had a crap attitude. Was the kind of the way I was for the past several months. Things were fine. I was just kind of a bummer to be around. I feel like even I would hear myself talk sometimes, and I'm like, do I really? I'm just a downer to everybody. Like, what the heck, you know? But I think was it you who I was telling someone? I think we were talking about it. The Viktor Frankl Man's Search for Meaning. I'm pretty sure in that book, I just had a recap I saw on either heard on a podcast or something, but I think he was in concentration camps and things when he was younger. And he talked about how the one thing he realized that they couldn't take from him was his attitude. I'm pretty sure is what part of his message was. And I'm like, man, that's the one thing I can control. Like, I can have a better attitude with stuff and things aren't that bad. Like, we have food on the table. We've got a place to live. Work's going good. It's chaotic.
Yeah.
But all in all, like,
We're pretty
life's great.
healthy.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get into health today.
Oh,
Lots of health. How's
sorry,
that?
I didn't mean to.
But
What was our most recent adventure, babe?
yeah, we need to figure out a way to like do this more. It's just, or we need to like find out hacks for traveling. If somebody has really good travel hack tips, let us know, because we just did an awesome vacation in Cancun. It wasn't cheap, but it was.
No.
It's like
That's
we're
the hack
in
that
reset.
we're looking for is how to make it cheap,
Yeah,
but like still
go and do it with 4 kids.
do it.
We stayed at the Moon Palace Resort in Cancun. It was really fun, really awesome. The check-in was a little bit of a headache. You're trying to get upsold on all sorts of stuff, but at the end of the day, like all-inclusive, everything, a little pricey, but
Which was
really
awesome though, because like with kids, they want to experience like room service, and the kids swam up to the quote unquote bar.
Yeah.
And thought that was so cool that they could swim up and get a virgin daiquiri, you know, or whatever. And so it's
How many
nice
virgin
to
daiquiris did our family order?
consume. Oh,
50 between
probably.
6 of us.
I'm not like I wish that I could say that was exaggerated, but I don't know that it is.
5 days, and every meal, I swear, like at least 3 of the kids ordered a virgin strawberry daiquiri.
Mm-hmm. It was their favorite.
They were yum, and then milkshakes, and
Oh,
the beds were
8.
comfy.
Oh my gosh, the beds. I was so grateful that the beds were comfy. But yeah, so they'd be like, Mom, let's order room service. And I was able to just say yes. It was just nice to go somewhere, have it be all inclusive where I could keep saying yes, I guess is the thing. So that was nice for me.
Breakfast was the best meal. Teppanyaki, they did a thing where they cooked in front of us.
Fun.
The kids really liked. They did when we did teppanyaki, they threw the food. Maddie and Jack were the only ones at our table that catch
The
it.
whole table.
I had one hit me right in my big nose. I think I caught half of it in my face and like a few pieces of rice in my mouth.
Yeah, you were close. You were pretty close. They pretended to like shoot her an egg yolk, and Maddie she was totally okay.
Yep, here we go.
Here we go.
That was pretty funny.
She's so funny, dude.
I think my favorite part was we did 2 excursions. One was the first excursion we did. We just swam the first 2 days at the hotel, and then we did 2 days of excursions. The first day we did Isla de Mujeres, where there's that island of women. That's what it's called. And
there weren't
no women.
just an
I can't
excess
remember.
amount of women. So.
I read about it. There's a reason. I can't remember why they call it that now. But beautiful island, really cool, beautiful beaches, beautiful water.
Yeah.
But they took us on this like quote unquote little sailboat or big sailboat, I guess. And we went across, stopped about halfway in between the island and Cancun where we were staying. And me, Maddie, Jack, and Taft jumped into the water to snorkel. It was only like a couple hundred yards to swim. Taft, I felt bad because Taft jumped in the water. I was surprised he even said yes, that he was going to snorkel with us because it's in the middle of the ocean. It's a little intimidating, you know?
Yeah, and his first time snorkeling, his first time. Well, in fact, it was Taft and Gwen's first time flying on an airplane at all. We forgot to mention that.
Oh, yeah.
And their first time, and everybody's first time out of country, all the kids' first time out of country. So it was kind of a cool bucket list. But this is his first time swimming in the ocean, period.
Yeah.
Or even like, I mean, he's been in the river and stuff, but not even like a lake, so open water.
Yeah. And the ocean, to be honest, freaks me out a little bit. My dad was born in Hawaii and would night dive and was all into that stuff, but I was born in Utah, so I don't know.
Right?
We swam in lakes, and even when I was younger, we'd go boating and stuff, and I'm like, what fish are here? Like, I don't know. It was always in my head, right? So they probably get it from me, but it was really cool. Like, Taft jumped in, and he was in for about 10 seconds, and then he just climbed back in the boat. But I was like, hey, man, at least he jumped in.
Yeah.
And then me, Maddie, and Jack just swam across, saw a lot of pretty fish, saw a little baby stingray. It was just we have some really cool pictures from it, but
Yeah.
got across, and then I was yelling at Taft, and he looked sad, like he was bummed. That's why I was glad we were able to, the second day we went and did what they call the cenotes. They're basically underwater, or I'm sorry, rivers that were buried in the earth that became exposed at some point. But one of the places we went to, you could go into it was a cave, and we got to go swim in there. And Gwen was pretty freaked out, but she just swam on our backs, and then the guide was really nice to let us. He just brought like one of those safety floaty rings.
Lifesaver rings, yeah.
Yep. And then you took her in, and I brought her out, and he just kind of dragged us through the water, and that was really cool. He did like zip lining and swam in that open water that looked kind of like a pond, really.
Yeah.
And there were fish and ducks and stuff in there, but then we had lunch there, and then we got to go. This is where I was glad we went and did that, because then they took us to another ocean area where the fresh water met the ocean, and so it was this little inlet where the water didn't get too crazy deep, a lot of rocks and stuff, but it got deep in sections. But then again, like, that was Taft's chance and your chance. All 6 of us all together jumped in the water and swam and saw fish together. And Gwen freaked out again for a little bit. She kept saying sharks. You said I mentioned sharks that live in the ocean or something?
Yeah,
before?
so before we were just talking, and they're like, but there's not sharks where we're going to be. And I just kind of was like, we won't see sharks, just trying to breeze it over. But you're like, oh yeah, there's sharks. There's sharks. And so she's, no, there's sharks. I don't want to go there. There's sharks. So it's just kind of one of those moments where as a mom, you know how they're going to react if you say something particular
right,
that you probably didn't even think was going to be an issue. So it was kind of funny, but we got it all worked out. She was freaked out, but I just was like, nope, we're doing it. Come on, we're doing it. And Taft was really cool because he just he realized, oh, I don't want to be scared. I want to be able to do those things. And
he was awesome.
So the next time he had the opportunity, he still had some fears and stuff. It took him a minute to get comfortable, but he did it. He did all of it. He did the zip line and everything, which
Yeah, he jumped right in, and that's right. He did do the zip line. I forgot. Yeah. He was a little freaked out by that. Didn't want to do it at first, and then.
But he did it, and then wanted to do it again, and wanted to do it again, and so it was awesome.
Yeah, it was
great.
Cool.
They did great, and it was one of those moments where you're just like, okay, we can do this with our kids. Like sometimes our kids are hard, and kids are hard in general, right? And so I think sometimes we're like, oh, we cannot go do this. Went cross country, or to another country. And flew, and luckily the flight, it was direct, so it wasn't that long, and they did really good on it. But with it being their first flight, we didn't know anyway, and they did good. We just kind of buddied up, and
we just had life jackets for Gwen. As soon as we got on any boat or near water, she just wore her little floaty. What are they called? What's
the puddle jumpers?
The puddle jumper. Mm-hmm. We just threw that up. Excuse me, I got a frog in my throat today. Little puddle jumper, and she rocked it. She was she had a good time. Yeah, I
asked them all too, because for the last few years, I'm like, we need to stop doing Christmas presents, because I feel like we just end up buying fluff,
Yeah.
And it's just we're just buying more and more toys that I throw out by the next year anyway, you know? And so, and then I have to go through all those toys and throw them away. And so the last couple of years, I'm like, we need to just do experiences. I wonder how the kids would do. But Gwen's 3, so she wants to experience Christmas, really, and all that. So, but I asked the older 3, I'm like, would you rather do this than do Christmas? Obviously Santa still comes and does whatever, but like instead of getting big Christmas, would you rather do this? And they all said yes.
Yeah.
I maybe did the timing right, because I asked them when we were on the boat. but
yeah, the experiences were definitely awesome.
Yeah, and they're not going to forget that.
Yeah.
I remember taking Jack he was 2 when we went to Hawaii, and he still talks about that.
He says he remembers that, really?
Yeah, he does. He really does. He'll tell me specifics about it. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
I don't remember anything from when I was 2. But that's crap you'll remember. I
hope, yeah.
I don't remember what I got for Christmas most years.
Yeah, no kidding, right? Like the big stuff. Trampoline and a basketball hoop. And
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. Go-karts and...
Yeah. But not... Yeah.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, the memories for sure were fun. It would be fun to do something like... Even if it wasn't that big, just go do something cool,
Yeah.
And the Mexican people are freaking awesome.
They're just so great.
Super chill, super nice, like... I don't know. I feel like we go to some places and our kids, I already have anxiety that we're imposing on people with with the 500. There's not many families the size of ours that were even there.
Yeah.
We maxed out the room capacity with 6 of us. We had they took 2 rooms and basically made it a suite is what they did.
Yeah. The lady
but everybody's just more chill, a little more laid back, a little more like let you bend the rules a little bit. There were just little things I saw that I was like, that's cool. They let that person, it wasn't even for me a lot of times. I would just see them just be a little more forgiving, but just chill. Even at the airport, just laid back. You could see like all of us a little stressed out, and they're just calm, just chilled out, Anyway, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, because you're saying not many people had as many kids and stuff that we did.
Yeah.
And one of the little ladies, the little server ladies, she was so cute. She was talking to you, and you told her how many kids we had. Remember what she said to you?
Oh, yeah. Something about the TV.
She's like, what? Do you guys not have a TV or something?
Yeah.
I was dying. We're so bored. We just keep having children. That's just what we do.
No tin tele. A couple of people said that to us. She wasn't the only one. Someone else said it to us later.
She did kind of say it like, that's just what we say.
Yeah.
So it may be like a phrase that they say.
Yep.
So funny.
Another
when
one
you
or
have
two.
A lot of kids.
Yep. The guy that came and talked to us, we got his ice cream at the...
Oh, yeah, he was cute.
He said that to me, I think. And then maybe someone else on the tour. Anyway, he was super nice, and then he asked us for a travel advisory review. And then I told him we gave him one, and then he came back, oh, your family's so sweet, so nice, so great. So do one more review.
I didn't.
I know, we should.
I didn't do it. We should, because the ice cream was great.
It was great.
And he was great. Because Maddie speaks Spanish. She was listening. She's like, Mom, he was so cute. He's so sweet. Anyway.
Yeah, he kept telling us how he loves music and to dance and loves to watch the people and be with everybody and the crowds and the groups. And yeah.
It's cute.
It was cool. But then we flew home, jumped on a plane, came home. Everybody was good. And poor Taft, I had to yank him out of the back seat of the van because he would not wake up for the life of us from the airport. We got back to our house. We live an hour from the airport. Finally get home, at 9 o'clock at night. Mm-hmm. Nobody had really any real food for the day except for the early lunch that we had.
Yeah.
And then a bunch of junk food. And that night he puked 5 times.
Yep. Anyway, I had to clean up a couple, is all.
Yeah, Taft, when you listen to this, buddy, you got to make it to the bathroom. This is not fair to your mom. The first time I basically slept through it. I woke up, the light was on, what's going on? You're like, he threw up. I'm like, oh, great. I'm like, well, at least we made it. We came home when we did.
Yeah. And
he was sick for 24 hours, and now Gwen got the same bug, but she's coming out of both ends now. She's puking and diarrhea.
Yeah, but I just kept thinking back to, I told Maddie this too. As we were doing this whole trip and how everything seemed to go pretty smooth, I would get a little frustrated or uptight when I was trying to make sure that everything was just right. I mean, how many times do you have to freaking show your passport? Which I'm not going to complain too much because then, that's how they keep everybody safe and everything. But 6 passports in and out and trying to make sure that I'm not losing them because we're in even more trouble if I lose them, Anyway, so I'd get a little flustered at those times, but really everything was pretty smooth. And I kept being, thank you, Heavenly Father, for helping us through this. You know what I mean? And it was just there were little things like Taft not getting sick until
we got home.
We literally got home and then that's when it happened. Or I didn't even get to bed yet the first time.
Really?
And so I wasn't even asleep yet. So it was
I was out.
Which to me, I'm like, I would rather stay up late than be woken up, right? Yeah. So if it was going to happen, at least the big one.
Yeah.
I had to clean up and I hadn't gone to bed yet. So there
was one scare at the resort where we got ice cream, which I don't even know why because we were just out for the day and Gwen was eating her ice cream, not paying attention. And then she fell down those cement stairs.
Yeah.
And I thought, she's lucky she didn't.
Fell?
The way I saw her go, I was 10 yards behind her, you guys. And I saw her little head flip down, and then her feet kind of come up above her head, and she tumbled down the stairs. And I thought, oh my gosh, please don't be really
the
hurt.
Cement stairs.
She sat up and she's like, my ice cream. She spilled her ice cream, and that's all she was mad about. I'm like, dude, you're lucky you didn't break your arm or chip a tooth right here.
I for sure thought that something was going to be broken.
Right?
The way that she fell. And it was one of those, she was between a cement wall, and then there was Maddie, and then there was me. And so when I go to try and catch her, Maddie's still there, but so I can't really catch her or do anything. And so she just fell all the way down. I'm like, there was no catching
4 steps or something.
Yeah, it wasn't a ton, but still, it was the way that she flopped.
Yeah.
Oh, that does not feel
So you ran and grabbed her more ice cream, right? We just kind of dusted her off, grabbed her another bowl of ice cream. She was angry. She was sad for a second. She's like, my ice cream spilled. She was so mad about it. She's the best, dude. She gets so mad. She is the feistiest kid by far that we have. Taft's a little feisty too, but man, if she doesn't like something, she doesn't.
Headstrong. He's not as feisty. He's just headstrong. He doesn't back down.
Yeah.
He fights for what he feels he should have or whatever, which is good.
Yeah.
In some cases. Sometimes you just need to listen to mom, all right?
Yeah. One thing that I don't know.
But yeah, that's another blessing that I was just oh my gosh, thank you. Thank you, thank you. I just kept having all these little prayers, thank you prayers, but it couldn't have gone better. And I think we needed it. I think as a family we needed it.
It was overdue. You and me did a lot of fun stuff last year, and we did a little trip with the kids.
But that was with other people too, which is so fun.
Yeah.
But I felt like we needed this time to revamp as a family, Yeah,
it was good.
So.
That was good. Yeah, that type of trip for us was overdue for sure. Like you said, that was the first time Maddie or Gwen and Taft had been on an airplane. Taft's 7 now?
Yeah,
but when Maddie and Jack were that age, they had flown, I don't know, a ton of times. We had gone a ton of places.
Yeah.
Of course, now it's twice as expensive for us to go anywhere, but.
Right. And also, you were traveling at that time.
And a ton of miles and points. And
yeah, so there was a lot more of freedom there, too.
Yeah.
And they weren't in school, and they weren't, you know what I mean? There was a lot more
variables
that are harder to navigate now. So. And
Yeah.
I'm sure I've thought of that too. And I'm like, I'm sure that Taft and Gwen will have experiences that Maddie and Jack won't have because they'll be gone before,
Totally.
so.
Well, I remember
think it
walking
works
down.
out.
I think we're like, it didn't hit me till that trip, but we are officially like in a new stage in our lives with our kids. Like we have older kids and we have younger kids, and it's split in half. And I looked at Maddie and Jack. You guys are like almost like adults. You guys can just take care of everything yourselves. I feel like we're constantly catering to Gwen and Taft all day long. Like, hey, don't do that. Do this. What do you need help with? Let's change you. Do whatever. And then I'm like, have we talked to Maddie and Jack today? Like, how are you guys doing? And I told them that I'm like, I feel like we have these grown-ups and then we just have these little kids. And they're like, yeah, we kind of feel that way too. And I said, I'm sorry. It's a little crazy, dude. But it was fun. And they're helpful too, which is great. But
Yeah.
it is like it's a weird phase in life feeling we're this old now that we don't have these. We just have a couple little kids, and the two oldest that we have, they can pretty much. They're still young, but they can pretty much take care of themselves if they had to. You know?
Yeah. And I've thought of that where we spaced them out so much that we
Yeah.
do have the two set, right? And so I think that was kind of some of the things that I struggled with as a parent or as a mom, is that I felt like I was constantly getting over a phase and restarting the phase all the way over again. And some people are like, oh, it was probably smart for you to do it that way, and you like, spread it out, and then it wasn't so much hard at one time. And I think sometimes, but would it have been easier to just get all the hard, small phases over with, be out of diapers sooner, be out of, and I wouldn't change it. Like, they're just great and it's perfect the way it is. But it's interesting, the perspective of, it is what it is,
We have 15, 12, almost 8, and then 3.5. So we gapped them all like 3-4 years apart, every single one of them.
Yep.
It is a trip.
But it's good.
Yeah. Jack just turned 12 on the 12th. And now he's supposed to get what we call in our church, the priesthood, which is like, I don't know, this is probably its own podcast, honestly.
Yeah. Well, and we talked about it before, where the hard thing about going through the faith crisis is navigating these steps.
Yeah.
We've been able to kind of like brush it under the table for a few years.
Yeah.
But now he's 12.
Yeah.
This is when they can get the priesthood. Is he going to do that?
Yeah.
And what do we do to help navigate that for him?
Yeah. So most of our friends, most people that listen to this right now, I think are Mormons, LDS. Yeah. But for those that aren't, that might listen, like there's a couple big things in Mormonism. One of them is when you get baptized, as you might imagine. And that happens at 8 years old. And then for the
Which
boys,
is coming to Taft. So we
Taft
have
in April.
That too.
Yep. Taft will turn 8 in April. And it's usually like when the whole family gets together and they celebrate this baptism, and it's great. It's a great day. And honestly, for us, it's always been a positive experience, and we're going to encourage it with Taft, right? Even though it gets a little, we still talk about it and everything, but it's really all their decision. And I know they're young, and we just really, for me at this point, it's like, man, I love the principles it teaches them. It gives them great values. It teaches them some great things, and then they've got to make a decision for themselves, and we're here to talk to them and help them. But then there's another thing where, man, I don't want to give a whole lesson on the priesthood, but basically when boys turn 12, or the year they turn 12 now, they can get what they call the priesthood, and they can start to do more things in the church, like pass sacrament and have more duties and things that they can do within the church. And Jack is that age now where they can give it to him. And again, it's another like family celebration. Well, you can imagine where our ward and the people in it are awesome, and our bishop's awesome, and everybody there, I think, really makes it great for us, which is, we're really lucky with that. But yeah, it's another thing where the family wants to get together and celebrate it. And I guess it's if like you had this really strong belief and then you kind of stopped having it, but the rest of your family still believed in it. How would that make you feel? I don't know. It's a trip, and a lot of people that have gone through it can relate a lot better, but it's part of the reason we did the podcast, kind of share some of that experience. But anyway, yeah. There we are,
Yeah.
It was cool to, I wanted to mention this too. Before we went to Mexico, we went out to dinner with some friends that have, do they have 5 kids?
I thought it was 4.
4. I think they have 4 too, but for some reason it's 4, I'm pretty sure, right? I'll have to look. They have 4 or 5.
Sorry, guys. We really.
They're actually. What's funny is we have a ton of friends that went to the same high school as us that also married people from our high school. Like a crazy amount of people, lots. Yeah. And we knew both of them in high school, and here we are, like 20 years later, dang near for me. My 20-year reunions this year.
Shut up.
That's
You're
stupid.
So old.
I know. I remember being in high school and people talking about their 20-year reunion. And I'm like, those people are freaking old, dude.
Right, for sure. No, for sure.
What the hell?
Absolutely.
I can't believe I'm like hitting my 20-year reunion. I do not feel this old, but or that old. But it was nice to go to dinner with them because we swapped stories, and I'm like, okay, we're not that crazy. Life's just as chaotic for them, if not as chaotic as us in some areas, maybe even crazier. They run a couple of really big businesses and together and stuff, and I'm like, well, at least like for right now, like you're able to you work, you kind of just are our mom right now, not just mom, sorry. But
I'm not taking offense at because I understand.
Thank you.
Where you're going with it. We have somebody that's home manning the ship.
Yeah, exactly. And anyway, and in some ways we're crazier too. But it was just a relief, I think, for them and us to just go, what the hell are we doing? Like, is it first of all, like, how are we almost 40? How is life this crazy? And was it this crazy for our parents when they were younger?
Yeah.
And like, what in the world? But that was really fun. We went to dinner. What was the place called we went? In Provo.
Black Sheep.
It was pretty good.
I love the green chili fries.
Oh, yeah.
Because I love green chilies.
Yep. Your New Mexican family members, that dad and everything.
Yeah, I love green chilies. So I like those. The salad is good, whatever. I've gotten a couple things from there that are good. But honestly, I go back for those fries. They're so good.
It's in Provo, right next door to Rockwell Ice Cream, right? And that ice cream place is really good too.
Good.
It's a good spot to eat dinner. The first time we ate there a few years back, I remember thinking this place is really good, and it was kind of hipstery and kind of fun food and everything. But I feel like I may have oversold it to myself the first time we went, but it was good. We had
maybe
some
you
good
got
food.
something different too.
I did, yeah. And then we went. What did we do? Just walked a couple blocks north from there, and we made candles at a
Wick or Wicks or
yeah,
something?
Wick, I think. That was fun. Did a little it felt like we were at prom night. We went and made candles.
For sure, that's exactly what happened.
In fact, I think I walked right by a place that I had rented a tuxedo at in high school. I'm pretty sure that used to be a tuxedo shop right there. It no longer is. But
that's so funny.
We went and made candles, and then we had to wait a few days, and we went and picked them up. And my candle actually smelled better than I would have thought.
You killed it. You named it. What was your name?
Yum.
Yum.
I named my candle Yum. They told us to name our candle. I'm like,
Yum, I guess.
Yum. Yeah. Turns out it wasn't that good of a name, but whatever.
It was awesome. I liked it a lot.
Have you burned your candle?
No. Freaking saving that thing.
Maybe see if it smells better than mine or not.
I'm going to put it in my freaking cedar chest to remember that one time. We went to prom at 36, 37.
Yeah, that was a fun time. It was a reminder to me that like every time we do that lately with friends, I'm like, there's so many times I just want to self-isolate and not do anything. I just want to be home. Life just seems so busy. I want to just be here. Every time we go out with friends or do something, like this was good for me. Like I needed to get out and go do that.
Yeah.
I'm really glad we did. But
well, especially where it was like your good buddy too.
Yeah.
It's good to...
We've connected more too, I think, as our kids have gotten older. I'm like, let's do this again before 15 more years pass,
right?
You know? And we talk every once in a while, but yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
Good.
I have some really good, smart buddies that are just good dudes and good people. We got a lot of good people in our life.
Yeah, we do.
Go ahead.
What have you been reading lately?
I've been a little bit of ADHD with my books.
Okay.
I would recommend all 3 of these books, actually. I've read, I just need to finish probably this book first, but it's the Ed Mylett book. Now the title's escaping me. It is a really great book. If you're into leadership or self-help stuff, it's a really fantastic book. And I really like Ed Mylett. I've talked about him before on here. In fact, Ed Mylett works with Andy Frisella. They do a lot of speaking, and they have their own coaching program and stuff. But Andy Frisella is kind of a partner with him, and he's the one that did that 75 Hard, that workout. It's like a 75-day.
Oh, yeah.
You do 2 workouts a day and follow a diet program and read 10 pages a day. I've never done it, but I know some people that have, and it's a really awesome program, I guess. But really cool guy, really great book. And then I started David Goggins' book, another kind of self-help book. But I love his audio books. That one I've been listening to. And he has a guy read it, and then he did this with his last book too. But in between each chapter, they podcast basically, and they talk together about it. And that one is called Never Finished. And he's the one that does, if you haven't heard of David Goggins, he's the one that he runs like these ultra marathons. He talks about how his childhood was rough, and I'm talking rough. And then joined the Navy SEALs, and he talks about all his failures and his successes, and he runs these big ultra marathons and stuff. But this second book is, in my opinion, is as good as his first book so far. And I'm about a quarter of the way through with that. And then one book that's a really easy read that I have loved, it's like a 2 or 3 hour audio book, but I bought the actual book too. It's called The War of Art by Steven Pressfield. And that book so far is like so simple, but so profoundly good. I would totally recommend that too. And it's a little bit of self-help stuff too, but it's just like, it makes so much sense. Like the first several chapters I'm in, it just talks about like resistance, how everybody feels it. Anytime it's like it's found in procrastination and so many things in our lives. But he just talks about half the battle sometimes is just sitting down to do the work and getting started. And then once you get started, it's not that bad.
Yep.
And a lot of times we tell ourselves a story, but that's just the beginning. And he's a writer. And anyway, I heard about him from Rogan's podcast. He was on there once, and Rogan's really talked highly about the book. And I'm like, I'll check it out. And it's awesome too. So those are the 3 books I'm in. What are you in right now?
So, Parenting Without Power Struggle.
Oh, how's that?
It's pretty good. I feel like half the time the parenting is or half the battle of parenting is the power struggle, right? So when I saw that there was this book, I was like, okay, I need that. And I love psychology and stuff, so I love to understand the way the mind's working. And so if we do this, then this is most likely going to be the reaction, or, and so that's why it interests me. There's No Bad Parts. That one I liked. I didn't get super far in that one yet, so I don't have much to say about it. But I've been loving, as far as just enjoyable reading, is anything Colleen Hoover. And she's just like an easy read, she just writes really well, so it keeps you hooked in the story and stuff. So I think the first one I read was like Regretting You, and then I got Maddie. Oh, nope, I'm reading Without Merit. That's what it's called. There's one that she wrote that's November 9th, and that's Maddie's birthday, so I ended up getting her that, and Maddie really liked it.
That's one she just finished a couple months ago or something.
Yeah.
Right?
So anyway, I've read a couple of them that I really liked of hers, and so at Costco they had them, and I was telling my mom that I really liked her too, and the way she wrote. And there were 3 of her books at Costco.
Oh, really?
So I got my mom one, me one, and Maddie one, so that we can just rotate through them.
Share them.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I have really liked that one. I started that one on the plane, or her one that I got for Christmas on the plane.
All right. I want to ask you about something, but I'm not sure if you wanted to go on here or not.
I can.
So you can take it off.
I can take it off if you want. Emotion Code is the name of the book that I've been reading, and I keep reading it, and then
You love that book.
I love the book.
Yeah.
And
you need to teach me about it. I'm a bad dad.
It was just interesting to me because it was saying like things that we don't even realize that we're keeping or not releasing can be hindering our health. In fact, I went to my friend does emotion code work, and I went to her, and it was interesting the things that she was bringing up, or that like got brought up in it.
Yeah. That
I didn't realize had so much power in me.
Like what?
Do we want to do that now?
Well, I don't know. Give us a couple examples.
So we talked about...
Unless you don't want to.
No, it's okay. Well, this could actually go right into our last topic we wanted to talk about. But she was saying that she was seeing something, or she said like most of my chakras were crazy off, or like blocked and need to be opened, and so we're working on that. But mainly it was through this trail of me having body image issues. I might cry.
Oh, all right.
But I ended up
I'm sorry.
But I ended up working through and processing and and realizing that these things that were hard for me, and yeah, I have, I've struggled with my health and my body image, whatever, post Gwen the most. And I've gone through a lot post Gwen as well.
Yeah.
Pre and post. But mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And so, anyway, but my body was like stuck on this thing. But it ended up, as I was processing and trying to understand why these things would be brought up, it got brought back to my cousin that I had recently lost that struggled with body dysmorphia, and me not understanding how that affected me, and then I was holding on to it because I just thought that we've moved on,
Yeah.
and I thought that I'd processed her passing as well. Anyway, and so it was just interesting how it was like, oh, that's still stuck there? That's still there. Okay, we'll do a little bit more work to try and help release that, because that's not helping my health and my progression.
I feel like that was maybe a theme, even an underlying theme for both of us last year, was like cleaning out the shit, for lack of a better term, maybe. Like, I feel like a lot of that happened last year.
Well, and I think it's still happening. I think we still have a lot to clean out. But at least we started to become aware that it needed to start being cleaned up.
Yeah. I feel better now that I haven't, since we stopped the podcast a few months back. Like, I'm finally like getting back on my feet with just like mentally and all the crap, right? And there's good days and bad days, I think, like just like everybody. But man, I was just in like real funk there for a bit. And anyway, yeah, I'm glad you had that experience. So sorry it's hard. And
it's okay. I mean, it will be okay.
We were sorry, do you have anything else on that?
No, so I've really enjoyed the book because I went to therapy for a month total in my whole life.
Yeah.
So
we already talked about how great of an experience it was.
Yeah. Yeah. And I am in my own head a lot. So I do process a lot.
Yeah.
Personally, some things I feel like I've processed through because I am so in my own head, but that maybe I'm not fully processing and letting go. Does that make sense? So I think that was the part that I hadn't done yet, is let it go. And so that's what this book has just been so interesting to me, and is because I think we do that a lot as a society in general. It's like, you wonder why 2020 impacted people so much, right? There was a lot of crap that happened and a lot of hard things, and it's still lingering. Yeah. Because a lot of us haven't processed it and let it go, and it's still our body is still holding on to that. Like it talks about how or isn't that another book? The Body Keeps a Score or something like that? Yeah,
I have that up on the desk upstairs that your friend recommended. To me, I'm
recommended. Like, it sounds like it's the same
It makes so much sense, yeah.
Right? Like, your body knows everything you've gone through. Yeah. And sometimes it'll block it out.
Well, one of your friends that... Sorry.
Yeah.
One of your friends that told me to listen to that book had made the comment to me, you are the descendant of so many people.
Oh, yeah. Like, this is interesting.
Think about how much of their stuff you could be carrying with you.
Yeah, right? because it's in their DNA.
Like, if we were once cavemen, and now that's part of some of the stuff I've been reading, some of the self-help stuff, they kind of refer to some of this information, or I guess this type of stuff, is like society's completely changed since, I don't know, even the past 50 years or 20 years. Like it's changing, and it's changed so fast that who knows what stuff we could be carrying from our ancestors or people that lived before us, or a grandpa or something, or even, that's encoded in our DNA somehow, or in our brain, and then whatever stuff we dealt with as a kid or as an adult that traumatized us, that we're trying to just like work through, and baggage that we're all trying to kind of break that link or strengthen the chain, or whatever you want to say. But
yeah, I remember one time, now knowing what I do, knowing better.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're such an idiot. Why would you say something like that? But I had some family talking about how they were doing like child trauma work where they were bringing up stuff that they're like, that they buried deep down that they couldn't even remember until they had gone through and worked it out. And I sat there and I'm like, oh, like, why would you want to do that? Like, if you've already
dealt with it, why go back
yeah,
and
like
dive
if
through
you've
the
already
crap?
like gone and like blinded it out, like you don't remember it, why would you want to dig back into that? And then now I'm reading and understanding and I'm all, Jess, you're such an idiot.
Yeah. You're not an idiot.
You know what I
It's
mean?
just-
I just
yeah.
didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that the body did keep a score, and it keeps
Yeah.
a score for more than just you. The same friend I think that you're referring to is, so she's like, when you're pregnant, the things that you go through, you have a growing baby inside of you. They're going through those things right with you. As you're developing them, like your body is developing with these things.
Yeah.
And so I sat there and I'm all, oh, poor Gwen.
I
Gwen. Because that's when I went through, we were going through all the faith transition stuff. That's all this
Yeah.
like other stuff. And I'm like,
It was some of the hardest years of our marriage.
for sure.
I have had this thought. I am not even kidding you. In the past couple of weeks, I'm like, I wonder if we like somewhere along the way traumatized this little girl before she was even born because of the stress that you might have been under.
Yeah.
Like, I started a new career. I was self-employed.
Yeah.
I've been self-employed the last 5 years. Well, she's 3.5, and we thought it would be smart to just have one more while we just jumped into a new
Sure.
career and all this
Why
stuff, right? And
not?
it's just been freaking nuts. And I'm like, maybe that's why she's like this feisty little girl.
Where she fights for what
But-
she needs to fight for.
Yeah, and then part of me is like, well, she's got a little bit of some of my sisters in her, so
Yeah.
and we see some of that,
But
and it's great.
But your sisters also had crap
For sure.
going on while
Stresses and all this
yeah,
stuff.
you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
same type of
Yeah, that's true.
probably, you know.
Yeah,
I
who
don't know.
knows?
Who knows?
You wonder if how much of it carries over because of that or the stress and the.
I don't honestly. I don't know. I don't know.
For sure,
These are all
it's a theory that it's
these
interesting.
are all, and
Yeah.
and to me, I'm like, oh, that's cool because I enjoy that stuff. I enjoy, again, the way the mind works and why it would work certain ways and process things. Anyway, so to me, I am like digging into this and being like, this is fascinating.
Yeah.
That this could be why XYZ, right?
Sure.
So, so yeah, I've been really into that. I really like it. It's long, but it's taken me a while to get through just because I don't sit down and read, and I wish I did. So the
Yeah.
Audible books I do better at.
That one you've
But
been
I
reading
also-
though.
Yeah, that one
These are
I've
a few
been because
pages
I
at a
want
time.
because I want to read, I want to understand, and I think it would be kind of cool to try out and do.
Yeah. You know what I've been doing
learn to do
is
it
if
myself.
there's been several
bit.
books lately that I'm just like, if it has a ton of information or it's really long or it's got a ton of data or something, I have that Audible subscription. I'll download the audiobook and read along with the
Yeah.
audiobook, and it helps me focus and I think retain the information. You've talked to me
Yeah.
about this, that the more senses you use, the more you taught this in college, right?
Mm-hmm.
With your program you were in, but and I totally makes sense to me because I feel like I retain the information better, I learn it better, and I focus better. So I can just read along, and then I can turn up the speed and I can get through it faster. So I'm
Yeah.
just like, I'm not daydreaming as much as I'm reading along. It still happens, but like I found that really helpful.
Yeah.
I have another financial book by Ray Dalio sitting on my desk. I started to listen to the audiobook, and he's got a ton of graphs and everything in it. I'm like, I need to purchase this book, and it's like it's got to be several hundred pages, and I'm excited to read that one too. But anyway, it's been helpful for me. So
Yeah,
you can get that on the Audible account if you want, if it helps you.
yeah, I just might.
I did put one of my Christmas gifts to Jess. When we talk about this, we can close out.
Yeah,
Well, one of my buddies, he's a health coach and referred his health coach. It's a lady that he sees. I think he does like a once a week health coaching thing. And Jess and I have been seeing these nurse practitioners about like our health, and we do like blood work. And I've been on testosterone, and I'm actually taking a break. My numbers have been kind of going up, so I'm kind of seeing if I can get away without it for a bit. But we'll see how things go. We can talk about it later, but. Just really trying to focus on our health and vitamins and taking the right vitamins for our bodies, and
yeah, make sure we're getting the right nutrients
yeah, just
that our bodies need.
Yeah, I think I got unhealthy for a while, really unhealthy a few years back, and then I started getting in shape, and then just my energy levels were super low. And so we went and got a bunch of blood work done, and I found out that my body metabolizes a certain vitamin B better than another kind of vitamin B. And anyway, it was really cool, really insightful to see, like, to get a lot of blood work done and then go through it with a doctor. Highly recommend it. Yeah. I've actually talked to a lot of friends and family about it, and they've started to look into it slowly too. But
just mainly to see what's going on. You know?
For sure.
Like, when was the last time that you were able to really like deep dive into your body and be like, what?
Yeah.
Tell me what's going on in here.
Yeah.
So,
but anyway, and he recommended this coach, and I thought, he's like, maybe for Christmas, so you guys have been focusing on your health or something, maybe Jess would appreciate talking to this health coach, and that might have some more insights for her. And so I got her like a 3-month coaching health coach. That today you had your first appointment, you said. Yeah,
just like a pre-appointment
Tell everybody what she asked you when you got on the call. I thought that was funny.
She's like, so I talked to your husband and he wants to do this. He's like, is this something that you want to do? And I was like, yeah, no, I'm excited. I think it'll be great. I think a lot of my health issues and blocks, I don't know, like I said, I'm in my head a lot, so my theory on what my problem is may change, but I feel like I've struggled to be on top of my health because a lot of like more mental than physical, and obviously physical too. I found some things like in the blood work that I'm like, oh, that would make sense, and
it goes hand in hand.
Whatever, but,
it really does, yeah.
But I feel like I've done so many of the fad diets that it's hard to decipher at this point what is healthy and what is not.
Yeah.
Because on one diet, this is healthy. On this other diet, that is banned. That is like the worst thing that you could eat. That is the worst thing that you could do. And so it's like there's so much information that you don't even know, you know? And I even tried to just go all totally clean and followed a lady doing that, and then gained 10 pounds doing that. And then I'm like, okay, now here's 10 more pounds that we're going to have to figure out. But anyway, so what does she have you doing?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
So I'm tracking everything right now so that she can kind of see. She's like, I'm going to treat you like a science experiment, and we're going to play around with things and see what works best for your body or what your body needs most. So I'm excited about it. I think it'll be great. And
tracking everything as far as food, workouts, like everything like that. Does she want to see what you're doing?
She just mainly wants to see what I'm eating. But yeah, I am tracking my workouts and stuff too, just because I do that anyway. But just mainly a pat on my own back. You did it.
Yeah.
Look, there's proof right here in my phone that you did it.
I like to track just because I stopped doing it for a while, and then I realized I wasn't working out as hard and I wasn't doing as much. And it's kind of nice that I didn't realize how much. I just track it in my Apple Notes right now, the workouts I do. And then I realized, I haven't worked out, this muscle group for a few days or a week or a month or whatever. I'm like, I should probably work that back in. And
I don't even do any of that crap.
I track every mile I run.
I just mainly am like, look at me. I did it. Good job.
Yeah.
I could check that one off. But anyway.
But it's nice to go back and look and say, okay, I did work out. I did a better job or I did a worse job this past month or week.
And that was the nice thing. My watch stopped working, but that was the nice thing
it did
with
officially.
The Apple Watch.
Yeah.
It won't turn on, but whatever.
I have that other
Maybe
one.
I'll call. Maybe I'll call.
I have that other watch. Use that one that I thought I lost.
Bought another one. Oh my gosh. We went to go pack for Cancun.
Yeah.
And Hayden goes through his
I thought luggage. I lost my Apple Watch somewhere, and it was a black watch and it was in a black bag, and it all camouflaged, and it was like, I think I left my watch where we were, and it was just in my bag, and I had already bought another one, so there you go.
I might as well just use that one. Anyway, mine's really old, but that is the nice thing, is to kind of look at you, because you can see it in like a month's view and be like, oh, like I didn't, because I have this hard thing where I'm like, I don't want it to be like so mind consuming, which it kind of is at this point. Like I'm obsessed with good and bad food. And I always tell this lady, I'm like, it's so annoying because I'm totally obsessed with it. I'm totally obsessed with like, I can't eat that because that is bad. And I can't eat this because this is good. And this is a bad choice. And you're doing bad because you do these things or do not do these things, right? And so that's why I'm like, it's freaking just this mind game that I am getting like deeper and deeper into that's causing this issue. So luckily she said she likes to work with that kind of, or fixing that mindset, which I'm glad because I think I could use it. But anyway, but yeah, it's good to see on the Apple Watch where you can look at a month and be like, oh, I didn't do it every day, but I kind of did more than I thought I did, actually, or you know what I mean?
Right.
So, anyway.
Well, I've tried a few different diets too, and like we did keto for the first time together last year.
And honestly,
I looked at pictures in July to now, and it is freaking depressing, dude. I almost got in the best shape. I did better when I tracked my macros, frankly. Yeah. And really it's tracking your proteins, fats, and carbs, but really it seems like, and I was talking to another friend about this the other day, but it's like, I seem to do better if you just keep your calorie deficit or keep in line with your calories and get enough protein. Like those two things are so key, at least for me, it feels like in my body, and so critical that keto was nice because I dropped a bunch of weight. And it was fairly easy diet all together to kind of follow. Once we got in the groove, it was like, okay, I know I can eat this and that, and it works. And you can still have some crappy foods like cheeses and stuff like that probably aren't great for you, but
that my freaking
that we loved. But I look back, I'm like, I need to show you the pictures actually, because you'll be like, oh my gosh, you did gain weight the past 6 months with my crappy attitude and everything, like in the way I was eating. But macros, if I showed you pictures when I tracked my macros versus keto, my body looks better when I tracked macros than when I was on keto. I thinned out on keto and I looked decent, but like I looked more, to me, I can tell a difference in my body. I've tracked it so close for so long now that I can tell if I gain a few pounds and look in the mirror. It's weird. Yeah. Maybe I'm more body conscious than you are.
Princess over there.
Yeah.
My curves.
But what was hard was, I think the coach is good because it's not me or anybody else. You just have this objective
third
point
party.
of view. But I as I was tracking, I got in at like 6 months and I was like feeling so good. I'm like, okay, I know how many eggs, and I pretty much knew without tracking. I'm like, well, I don't need to track this now. And I did good for a few months, and then I fell off the wagon again. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm going to start tracking. I've been really bad about it until just lately. I've started being really good about tracking it again and getting back from Mexico. And I hadn't weighed myself on the scale for months, maybe like several months. And I was like, crap. And that motivated me again to be like, okay. The one thing I did do the past 6 months that was consistently good was I worked out and I could feel it in my knees and my legs, like running. Weight. Yes, like crazy. And my runs were harder and everything, but I still was like hitting the treadmill. Yeah. I don't run outside because I don't like to, but I'll run several miles. Like this morning I ran 3 miles, and yesterday I ran 4, and it's usually somewhere between 2 and 6 miles a day I'll run. I try to get in 15 to 20 miles a week is where I usually land. But anyway, for me it was just tracking what you eat. It makes you aware of it, and then for me you can't sit and yell at yourself for it either. At least that was me. It's just for me it's track so I know. And I snacked way more than I thought, or, I added in this bowl of cereal and that added 500 calories to my day. And that's that takes away the entire run plus some that I did this morning, and you're like, just or I had that bag of chips and there's 400 calories in that bag of Cheetos or whatever it is, Yeah.
My thing is I've done a few things where I've tracked, and with keto, honestly,
mindful.
Keto was easy because of the way that I did it, probably because I didn't do all the macros and everything. I just mainly said, I'm not going over this amount of carbs and sugars. Yeah. And I stayed between a certain amount of carbs and sugars, and that's all I worried about. And then I would eat all the cheese and all the protein and all the whatever.
You, me, and my cousin that was living with us at the time all did it together, and I felt like that really helped too, where we had a few of us on the diet. But even doing it together, just you and me, would have that was super helpful, because then you're like, what do you cook dinner?
But my thing is I even told this lady, I'm like, listen, I don't feel like for me tracking is sustainable, because I know that I don't want to track for my whole life, but she, and you know, and I am tracking now because we're going to start and be aware, and I get the concept behind all of that, you know, understanding why, where, what, and how, and then going from there, and we'll see how it goes, but I'm excited. I think it'll be good, and hopefully, again, mainly I'm like, because it had a list of what's your goal here? Like, do you want to lose weight? Do you want to, is it overall health, mental health? Like, what is it you're looking for? And I just was like, just overall health. Like, I just want to be healthy, feel healthy, have a healthy mind in regard to food and health and whatever. But, because I feel like I kind of messed it up the last little bit with like trying so hard, too many different things.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. So, yeah, and I think the tracking is good. It's probably good to do it in, like, if you feel that way, maybe it's good to track part of the year for a few months. Say, okay, for the next few months. And that was me. Like, after I was good for a few months, and then you don't realize you start to slip and have these little snacks here and there, and then you're like, Yeah. It's so crazy how it's just like such a mental game, you know?
For sure.
And it's like even though I was working out still every single day, maybe I wasn't pushing myself as hard either in those workouts all the time, but you realize how much food has to do with how you look. Yeah. You know, you might be able to go work. What's the saying? You can't eat out. You can't
work
outwork a bad diet or something. Yeah. And there's a lot of truth to that. Yeah. You know, if you're running ultra marathons or swimming tons of laps a day or something, maybe there's something to be said there, and you need to eat more. But
right.
For us that sit at a desk or whatever most of the day. Mm-hmm. But anyway, all right. Well, we should probably end it. How you? Any other thoughts?
No, we'll just. I don't know. That could even be a whole podcast on itself of all the things that
we'll see how
our
it goes.
Little health journeys. But for now, we are trying.
That's right. Know. Yep.
But yeah, that's kind of a little update on our lives and where we are and what we're doing, and hopefully keep on keeping on. Sorry that we're been inconsistent, but we're working on trying to schedule and figure this out so that we are more consistent.
Yeah, I started a master's program too.
We didn't
last
even
week.
Say
we didn't even talk about that.
that.
I guess we mentioned it in our last episode, but it's officially started.
But you've started. You went to your first class, back to school.
There's times I'm like, this is so cool and so fun and so exciting. I'm so grateful to be learning. And there's other times I'm like, what in the hell am I doing? It's been more good than bad, so that's good though.
I know.
I'm pretty excited. There's some really great classes I have upcoming, and it's all kind of in the career field that I'm in, and
it'll be good.
It'll be cool.
Knowledge is never bad.
Started the MRED program at the University of Utah. It's the Master's in Real Estate Development. And, see how it goes.
Yep. You'll do awesome.
It's fun.
Good.
2-year program.
Keep reminding yourself
that's what we're trying to, I am.
Keep reminding yourself that it's fun.
It's week 1, so they give you all the easy assignments, and you get through them, you're like, yeah. It's like it's like when the really good football team plays a really crappy football team week 1, and then you're like, get all the confidence, and you got to go play the hard stuff. But it's been fun. It's been good, and I'm already feeling like I'm finding that groove slowly.
Well, and that's the thing, too, is you have
fast and slow. But
we had that conversation where you're just like, I haven't done school for so long. So, yeah, of course, the startup's going to be like, crap, what are we doing? But
we paid off student loans last year. And
we don't want to talk about that.
Here we go.
Let's not talk about that, please.
But, yeah.
You got this. It'll be awesome. And gaining more knowledge in your field will only help, not hurt. So,
yeah, it's cool. It's cool for sure. Okay. I love you.
I love you more.